Yes, sir.
Okay. So today the agenda for our session is cyber crisis management plan and techniques. So we call it CCMP. So as you are well aware of this, that this CCMP is actually not a particular technique, but a set of documents or certain uh, set of documents to make yourself ready for any eventuality. In the case of security, we always know that there are certain situations when the eventuality can happen. So we must be prepared for that eventuality, and somehow it happens, then we will must be able to respond in a timely manner and a well manner. So I will start there. Hello. Okay, I will increase my voice. So if any issue, please tell me. So the outline for today's course is that we will see that what is the purpose of this CCMP plan, what is the mandate, what is the structure, what are the different point of actions, and finally we will see what are the cyber security exercises. So the purpose of this CCMP plan is to mainly prepare the organization to uh, make the strategic framework so that they can prepare themselves, they can be able to respond to, and then can begin the coordination in case of any eventuality. And this all these are done to make sure that the interruptions and the manipulations of the critical functions are very brief, infrequent, and manageable. And to assist this helps the organization to put a mechanism where they can pinpoint the responsibilities and accountability down to the individual levels. So this we can see that this is a set of protocols and all those things where we can define that how we can prepare ourselves, how we can uh, prepare our responses if some eventuality happens, and then how we can coordinate to minimize those effects, and so that the whatever our services are, they are able to run with minimum disruptions. So what is the mandate? CCMP has been mandated by the government that every government organization in India should have their own CCMPs. The organization, the sectors should have their own CCMPs, and these organizations should equip themselves with the implementations and compliance of all those things. And at certain, we are conducting the mock exercises with ministry organizations. So we will talk about it later, but if the ministries are interested to participate in the mock drills and exercises, workshops, they can consult us and we can arrange different exercises for them. And what should be the structure of a cyber crisis management plan? So we now see that there is recent media report that different sectors in India are under continuous attack from the adverse nations. So we should be able to prepare ourselves in those scenarios. So if a proper documentation, proper operation procedure is in place, then whatever the emergency happens, we know that what we do, and there is no chaos, and everybody is able to respond to that. So whenever the organizations are making their own CCMPs, then these things should be present there. So first thing is that what is the concept of cyber crisis management plan? Then what could be the nature of cyber crisis? So we see from here that CCMP is not just that incident response procedure, but it's actually preparing yourself to make yourself ready for initially that how to deal with an incident, what kind of incident could happen to your organization, and how to tackle with them. So the second point is that what should be the nature of cyber crisis in your organization, and what is the cybersecurity threat landscape. So different ministry organizations share different kind of some may be common, but some may be specific to those organizations only. Like suppose that certain organizations are means related to manufacturing, so they have different set of threat landscape, different set of cyber crises, and different set of protocols to how to deal with them. So this is the point. The then point is the building cyber security capabilities. So nowadays we are seeing that not just knowing what is cyber crisis, but being able to avoid those crises, and these have become very important. So every organization have their own, certain organization have their own cyber crisis management teams, so they can analyze this, whatever the issues are coming, and they can mitigate at their own it also. Then we have incident prevention measures. This is very important because this is the core of this CCRP plan. So different type of incident can happen at any time. So everybody should be ready with their own plan, that how we will respond to a specific issue. Like suppose that there is a phishing attack on your organization, then how will you respond to that? What the measures we will take so that these kind of crisis does not escalate. Suppose that there is a ransomware, suppose that there is a data breach, then what process you will take, and who are the person responsible for doing all those things. So if a proper plan is in place, then we have seen that all the means disruptions will be very minimum, and you can restart those services. And then we have the crisis recognition, mitigation, and management, and finally the post-incident activity, like what you learn from that incident, what are the changes you have made in your organization, in your SOPs, so that such a eventuality does not happen. And apart from those broad points, we have certain important points in the cyber crisis management plan, like the implementation of information security management system, ISMS. That is information security. You have a proper information security in place. Then your how you prepare yourself for the incident handling. What is your incident response in the first hour and the next 24 hours? What is the crisis management in the critical infrastructures? What are the different security controls implemented in your organizations? If there is a data center, then what are the data center guidelines? What are the network infrastructure guidelines, best practices? So these are the basic things, like you must be having in your total CCMP plan. So the first point in that was the concept of cyber crisis management plan. So as we have already seen that this concept is very simple, that how will you prepare yourself, how you will respond to, and how you will begin to coordinate recovery from a cyber incident. And then this CCRP plan should cover different type of cyber crises, what are the different threat landscapes, and what are the different kind of means how different coordination is being achieved between the different stakeholders in case of any eventuality. And the third point is that this cybersecurity field is very technology incentives. So you have to keep yourself updated. Be at certain, we always release different kind of advisories, alerts. So you must be able to see those advisories, those alerts, and act accordingly. So what could be the nature of those cyber crises and contingencies? So as we have seen that in the cybersecurity field, there could be a different kind of cyber crisis, that there could be a targeting scanning, there could be large scale defacement of website, there could be malicious code attacks, spams, denial of service, application level attacks, financial frauds, threats due to emerging technologies, hybrid threats, attacks on ICS and SCADA systems. So these kind of attacks are there. These are the broad categories. So what are the things that are specific to your organization? You have to pick from those. And what are the different targets at present in India? So we can see that in our country, most of the critical infrastructure are under cyber attack from the advanced nations or hackers. So every this encompasses mostly every department of our government organization. So every government organization should be able to pinpoint those things, and should be aware of what are the different kind of cyber challenges. So cyber threat landscape, from the present we have a this graph showing that means every malware, sophisticated malware, these kind of attacks and this kind of cyber challenges, they are increasing day by day. So we have to be well aware how to tackle with those things, and so that in future such abilities are kept to a minimum. And what is a threat landscape? Cybersecurity threat landscape. Cybersecurity threat landscape actually encompasses that what could be the surface area of attack, means how much exposure our organization is providing to the attacker. If the more the exposure is, more it could attack our organization. So what we have to do is minimize the exposure, minimize the threat area, threat surface, so that attackers find it very difficult to attack to our organization. So what could be the attack targets? So we have already seen that the critical infrastructures, the government organization, business intelligence, and what could be the motives? Motives are quite simple. They could be from our adverse countries, disruption of services, financial frauds, and the attack actors and elements, so nation states, cyber criminals, hackers, and what are the attack vectors and medium? Attack vectors means how they will attack our organizations. So they can be attacking by phishing, by social engineering, by ignorant users, vulnerability in exploiting the tool, whatever the tools we are using. We are like offices, we are window office we are using, and that is outdated. It has some vulnerability left. We are using the outdated operating system version. So these kind of things increase the threat landscape. Then botnets are there. Suppose that somehow someone has installed a malware and it created a backdoor entry to the attacker. So attacker can anytime take control of your computer and launch attack from there. So how we can help ourselves to build a cybersecurity capabilities? So there are the minimum 5 things which must be having in our organization so that we are able to defend ourselves. The first thing is that inventory of devices. Inventory of devices means you should have a list of every asset what you are having in your organization, even to the point of like pen drive. So if you are having a mobile in organization, which is the official property, laptops, servers, pen drives, hard disks, external hard disks. So everything you must be knowing that what you are having. So that is the general saying in cybersecurity that we can't protect what we don't know we have. So we should have a list of every inventory and who are using what inventory, who is the custodian of that inventory. So these things must be kept in mind. The second point is that control use of administrative privileges. The administrative privilege only few persons in our organization should have. It should not be open to all, because through administrative privileges one can grant access to anybody, so he can remotely access anything and he can do damage. So this administrative privilege should be monitored very importantly, so that these are not misused. The next point is the secure configuration for hardware and software. Whatever the hardware and software you are using, they should have secure configuration, not just the latest, but the secure configurations. Because configuration is also important. Suppose that you have installed a server in your organization, but that is poorly configured. So anybody can have access through some SSH protocols or some other protocols. So you need to also look for the secure configurations, and what are the patching and updates of the firmwares and that are received from the vendors. So the software vendors, you must be able to they are updated as soon as they are available by the vendor, so that any zero-day vulnerability, if it is found and patched by the vendor, so that those vulnerabilities have been closed. In future, nobody could exploit those vulnerabilities. Then the fourth point is malware defense. So you must be having an updated anti-malware and antivirus solution in your organization, so that every PC or end devices are regularly checked for any malware or antivirus. And the finally is the vulnerability and patch management. This vulnerability and patch management are actually what are the different alerts given by certain or other sources, so which on the timely basis disclose that there are vulnerabilities in certain products or something. So you must take action on those alerts and vulnerability disclosures and implement in your environment at the earliest. So we now come to the point that cyber resilience. Cyber resilience is actually that how we can minimize the effect of a cyber attack. So what are the different 4 key parameters in this cyber resilience? That we must be able to anticipate that what should attack our, means what things are going to attack our organization. Then suppose that certain attack has happened, then we should be able to get a stand and then recover and finally evolve, that so that the same vulnerability or same attack is not able to affect our organization in near future. So we have shown that what are the different impact of a cyber attack. And suppose that cyber attack is happening in an organization, then it has mainly three different phases. Like firstly, it will enter to your organization, and after some time you will be able to detect it. Then you will be able to, after detection, you will implement some methods to to recover from it. So the recovery process will be initiated. So whenever the time limit between the penetration and detection is very large, then the problem will arise that the attackers are making access in your organization for a long time, and so they know about uh, every part of your network, and so they can easily attack in future. So you have to try what we should try. We should try that what whenever the penetration has happened somehow, then we should able to detect it quite early and then initiate the recovery process. So we have four different controls to achieve this process. The first is the protective control. So what does protective control say? Protective controls says that whatever the means we have controls we have implied in our organization. Suppose that we have intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, firewalls, and everything, and that is working fine. So whatever these things will do, that they will decrease the surface area of attack, so that the attacker is finding very difficult to enter to our organization. So penetration part will be very difficult. Then come the detection part. Suppose that somehow the attackers enters in your network or system, then if the proper detective controls are in place, then they can easily be detected. So the early detection is very important. So if the early things are early detected, you can initiate your recovery process. Then we have the containment process. Containment process is that how fast you are able to apply your recovery systems. So what we will see that the effect of this containment process is that it reduces the impact of an attacker. And finally, we have the recovery control. So recovery control, this will decrease the time of initial recovery and the rate of recovery. And finally, we'll see that if the all four controls are properly in place, then we can easily minimize the impact of this cyber attack. So protect, detect, contain, and recover. And now we come to the incident prevention part. Incident prevention. So we know that cybersecurity is such a thing that anytime after having a well-protected network in place, or proper means everything is proper, some immaturity can happen. So how we can have a proper incident management and a plan? So the first thing is that CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, should be nominated in our organization. So he should be the nodal person to talk with the internal and external stakeholders in case of any eventuality. Second is that you should have proper information security policy implemented and the best practices that are practiced in your organization. You should have business continuity plan. You should have a disaster recovery plan. You have a network traffic scanning, isolation of critical network in case of any eventuality. Then two important points are here nowadays that have become very important. One is the vendor risk management and supply chain risk management. So these 2 points is that suppose that your organization is very well protected, but your vendor which is supplying any software solution or any hardware or anything which is connected to your network, it has some poor cyber security capabilities, then the hackers can attack your organization through these organizations. So we must be able to means whatever the vendors and supply chain we are working with, they have also implemented the best practices of the organization of the means we have implemented the best practices so that they are also protected. Then we have background checks, we have audit and assurance. So if organization is well audited, then they know that what are the uh, vulnerabilities in their systems or networks, and they have been patched. So we have a facility provided by the certain where we provide list of impaneled organizations which do audit. So you can go and check our website. So you can find all the list of impanelment organizations which provide audit facilities and get your organization audited, so that you know that what are the vulnerabilities, and they will tell the way how to patch those vulnerabilities. And then we have security training and awareness. This is very important because Every employee who are using the network or resources should be able to know that there are real threats of cybersecurity and how to get themselves means ready to so that they are not fall prey to the like phishing attacks, social engineering attacks. So because these entry points are very, we have seen that for the big whatever the big cases have come, the entry points are very simple, like phishing, social engineering. So hackers somehow trick the person or employee of the organization to share certain things or credentials or download some malware, and through that they perform some big hacking. So the every employee, if is aware that what is wrong and what is right, then there will be a very big help. And finally, the coordinating the incident and information sharing, because a proper coordination is needed in case of any eventuality. So the CISO should be able to communicate with the internal and external stakeholders. And the crisis recognition, mitigation, and management. So crisis management and containment. So these are the different points are there. These are the actually set of actions for the rapid response and remedial measures. So what have to be done? Containment of crisis. So whenever the crisis or any eventuality happens, so you have to localize, means those hardware. Suppose that you suppose some PC you're suspecting that it has downloaded some malware. So you isolate it from the network, or your server is compromised. You isolate it from your environment or network. Then we have to communicate with all the concerned, whatever the concerned stakeholders are. Then you have to coordinate and coordinate or coordination of efforts with, and then we have business continuity plan so that the downtime is very minimum. Then you have to do the detailed analysis of why the crisis happens and what are where these effects, and finally learning from the crisis, whatever you learned. So mainly there are two kind of actions to be performed: actions within the organization and actions beyond the organization. Actions within the organization are the already we talked what are the SOPs and all those things, point of action taken. And the action beyond the organization is the coordination part, that how we coordinate with the different agencies, like if required with the, you have to coordinate with the certain, if required, then you have to coordinate with the law enforcement, then the media or other things. So uh, actions within the organization can be of three types. What are the different policies, SOPs in place so that those are activated quickly in case of an eventuality, and whatever the plans you have been taking, SOPs you are uh, employing, so that should be completely aligned with the national crisis management plan. So that's the important thing. Whatever you have organization, whenever some makes the CCNPs, they send to the certain for means audit part that how this CCNP is right or not. So then the you have to, third is that implementing this crisis management plan. So this should not only be used when you have got some eventuality. So you have to actually test it in case like a demo test, like a fire test is going on. So in case of you have to create a demo situations, and then you have to activate these plans. So you have to see whether these plans really work or not. So how can we work together with the certain, how can we work together for a effective cyber crisis management? So as I already told you that we have different list of empanelment of IT security auditors. So you can on our website you can see the list. So you can use it for audit purpose. We are providing the security alerts and advisories on a timely basis. So you are well aware of what are the different vulnerabilities and latest security patches available. So you can update your systems. Then the vulnerability notes are there, which provide for the latest vulnerabilities in operating systems and softwares. Then we have one Cyber Swachhta Kendra. Cyber Swachhta Kendra is a part of Government Digital India initiative, which actually provide you the facility to clean a bot from your infected computer. Suppose that you are having a computer which is infected from malware, and that malware give access to the backdoor access to a hacker. So these kind of things are called bots. So if a if your PC is infected with a bot, you can help our Cyber Swachhta Kendra. You can go to the website, and there you can download the software, and if there is bot is available, then it will be removed from it. And then the cyber threat intelligence exchange platform is there. We are also providing the sharing threat intelligence. So what should be the response? First is that development of this cyber crisis management plan in line with the CCMP by certain already told. And then we have cyber security exercises. I will give you the link where you can give your request if you are interested to participate in the workshop training exercises drills. We can surely organize one for you. So what you organization can do to secure the Indian cyberspace? Firstly is that whenever any incident happens, you should duly report this incident to us so that we are able to know what is happening in a particular sector. Then you can collaborate with the certain with your alerts, whatever the alerts you are getting or what you are finding in your organizations. And finally, you regularly participating in the training workshops and discussions so that you are updated on the technology and security best practices. Now I will talk about the cyber security exercises. This is the final part. Uh, we are conducting different kind of cyber security exercises. We call it layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 hybrid and cyber crisis tabletop exercises. So layer 1 exercise is a very basic level of exercises where it is a kind of familiarization and best practices kind of thing. In the layer 2 exercises, we actually provide the demo version of a kind of attack to the participating organizations in the real time, where the users uh, can at, attach to our network, and there we can send them certain artifacts so to analyze. In the layer 3 cybersecurity exercises, actually we are creating certain scenarios, we are creating certain injects. Injects will actually we are calling injects things which are actually whatever suppose that a malware is coming in your organization. So what are the different indicate of compromise what you will be getting. So we are providing certain things in the injects and we are providing it over to the mail to the participants and then participant need to reply that what will be their responses. And finally, we have the tabletop exercises. In the tabletop exercises is actually for the management level. It is a discussion based. We are providing certain is artificial simulatory scenarios where and when we ask the response from them and we discuss it that what should be done in those cases. So we provide the analysis part and we also expect that what is the preparedness level of each organization participating in those exercises. So these are the differences. So we come to the end of this session. So please, if you have any questions, you can ask. Hello. 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 Hello, Mr. Naresh. Hello. 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 Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I
Hello.
finished. If any question, you can write in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think there are no more questions. So actually, my hello.
Sir, I think there.
Okay, sure. Then I will finish. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
we'll
for.
we'll uh, we'll wind up the session, sir.